HP's Star Wars laptop even comes with 2 TIE fighters and a box for your action figures. A long time ago in a corporate licensing office, far, far away, someone started granting permission to make Star Wars merchandise to just about anyone with a pulse and a checkbook. The result was Jar Jar Binks' tongue sucker, Boba Fett misters and a Star Wars tackle box. So when you hear the phrase Star Wars laptop, I'll understand if you'd rather be cryogenically frozen than see more of your cherished memories thrown into a Sarlacc pit, where they will be digested over 1,000 years. Fortunately, HP's take on a Star Wars laptop isn't one of those horrible gimmicks that makes Monday Mothma weep. HP basically stayed on target in producing a laptop that Star Wars aficionados and comic book guy collectors can appreciate. Don't believe me? Even the unboxing of the Star Wars laptop is a special May 4th experience and tells you how much work HP put into it. The box, of course, has Star Wars images plastered on it. That's a given. But when you open it up, reducing collector value sucker, and pull out your power brick, it's in the box with an image of Darth Vader himself. I might add, the box seems perfectly sized to store your action figures. The box for the power brick has none other than the Sith Lord himself, Darth Vader. I planned on putting my Han Solo action figure inside. Behind it you can see the special case HP is also selling. But now you're ready to take out the laptop, which is held in place by a Pioneer TIE Advanced X-1 fighter. Yes, one of the few TIE fighters ever built that conveniently included a hyperdrive system, so Darth Vader could escape after the Death Star was destroyed. I mean, no reason for Han, Luke and Wedge to go after him, right? They had a party to go to. A Pioneer TIE Advanced X-1 fighter protects your Star Wars laptop during shipping. HP even modeled the solar panels of Vader's twin-ion engine fighter in the packaging. Solar panels, which scientific types say would never work because you couldn't collect enough photons that far in space. Sniff. Well, whatever. Here's another view of the foam packaging that holds the HP Star Wars laptop while in transit. Here's the laptop itself. The name is unremarkable, Star Wars Special Edition Notebook. On paper, it's a skin pavilion laptop with average parts. The specs on it include Intel's latest 6th Gen Skylake Core i5 6200U, a 15.6-inch 1920 x 1080 IPS panel, 6 GB of DDR4 RAM in dual channel mode and Intel HD 520 graphics. There's also a 1 TB hard drive. The device weighs about 5 pounds. HP says it includes an optical drive so you can watch your Star Wars discs. The mostly unremarkable specs help contain the costs to an affordable $699. HP does offer memory upgrades, as well as an optional NVIDIA GeForce 950M and larger storage. But you know what? I'd rather buy the baseline model and do some upgrades myself. I'd drop in more RAM and an SSD. If it had an M.2 slot, which I'm going to imagine it does, I'd put in an M.2 SSD too, and then maybe the 2 TB hard drive. That way I could pull it out at the cafe to show my customer. And yes, after she exclaims "what a piece of junk," I could say, "she'll do 500 Mbps right speeds, kid." I've made a lot of special modifications myself. HP's Star Wars laptop will make .5 past light speed. She may not look like much, but she got it where it counts. But again, HP didn't just slap on the skins and call it a day. On the top deck of the laptop is none other than TK421. You probably know him as a stormtrooper who somehow couldn't blast the rebel even from 5 feet away. The use of TK-421 and Darth Vader, I'll point out, shows HP knows its Star Wars fans too. No matter what you think of the hardware, who doesn't love Episode IV? Now imagine someone in HP corporate looking over the Star Wars licensing menu at Disney and noticing how much cheaper it probably is to license Episode I merchandise. I can't hear this conversation. Whoa, 25 cents to license Anakin Skywalker, and they'll throw in Jar Jar for free. HP chose wisely. It's almost all Episode IVVI material except for a few wallpapers. Here's a look at the Stormtrooper on the HP Star Wars laptop. Sure, they can't shoot worth a damn, but at least they're not clones anymore. Moving over to the trackpad, HP repurposed the targeting computer technology from an Incom T65, which non-nerds will recognize as an X-Wing. And yes, don't worry, you can switch it off if you want to use the Force instead. That's code words for using your USB mouse instead of the trackpad. Luke, you've switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong? Besides the exterior finishes, HP also polished the OS itself. There's licensed sounds, screensavers, wallpapers and even a nifty trash icon that switches from Episode IV Death Star when full to Episode VI when empty. HP even throws in a licensed Star Wars Orbesh font. That way you can't type memos in Orbesh to annoy your boss. What? You don't read Orbesh? Could it be a nicer laptop? Sure. Could the company have taken its sexy Spectre X360 and done the full Star Wars treatment on it? Sure. But then you'd be the farm boy sitting in an MOS Hesley tavern complaining about paying $1,300 for a Star Wars laptop and how you could almost have custom decals created and put on it for that much. Yeah. Well, who's going to do that, kid? You? Totally new designs and established lines that just get the refresh treatment. HP's Spectre X360, now named the Spectre 13 X360, is a refresh recipient, but it's not a bad thing. The drop-dead gorgeous milled aluminum laptop has been grabbing attention since it was released last year, so the upgrade is well deserved. The big news: the laptop shifts from Intel's 5th Gen Broadwell to a 6th Gen Skylake chip, specifically the Core i7 6500U with Intel HD 520 graphics. There's also a Core i5 CPU version available, but HP didn't supply the exact model number. HP Spectre X360 Media Mode right facing the Spectre 13 X360 gets a new color too. Skylake supports both DDR4 and DDR3L, but HP opted for DDR3L. I'd guess it's for battery life reasons. Also new is the color. Brushed aluminum will stick around, but HP added an ash silver option with copper highlights along the edges. And in the smallest of little changes, HP says it changed the way the keyboard lights up. On the original Spectre 13 X360, the key that turned the backlighting on or off was always lit, presumably to let you find it in the dark. But apparently enough customers complained about it always being on that the company now allows users to turn it off. HP will also allow older Spectre X360 units to do the same after a UEFI update. The price of the base Spectre 13 X360 with 4GB of RAM, 128GB M.2 SSD and the Core i5 Skylake chip should be $899. Other options include 256GB and 512GB M.2 SSDs. All models feature touch and either 1920x1080 resolution screen or a 2560x1440 panel.